What up, y'all? DCFAYGOGUY. Today, we got a special video for you guys. Joining me, as you can see, is the homie Wasteland. Waldo, what is up? We've been
What's up,
talking,
y'all?
we've been talking for quite some time now. Towards the end of last year, I finally stumbled upon Candy Corner Cover Songs 1 and 2. Absolutely fell in love with both of those albums and just immediately started talking to you, Waldo, about some ideas of like artists that low key could and should cover if he ever did a Candy Corns and Cover Songs 3, which I know recently he kind of had teased he has the songs already in mind. So now I'm kind of curious what we pick, if there's anything kind of in line with what he's already got in mind. But yeah, I know you and I have been
It
talking
would
about
be
doing this for a
interesting to
while.
see.
Say that again. Sorry, I think I rambled over you.
Oh, no, you're good. Yeah, I'm interested to see what exactly he has in mind because actually some of my picks are artists that I know he's familiar with anyway.
Okay.
So
Hell
I
yeah.
wonder if I accidentally picked the right one. But yeah, I think February is when we talked about doing this initially.
Oh, for sure. I know early in the year is when I was really like soaking all of that shit up, and actually every Sunday you can go on and like see on Apple Music the music you've been listening to, and literally since the beginning of the year, Candy Corn and Cover Songs 2 has been like my most listened to album. 5 of the songs from that album have been in my top 5 songs. I'm like, I set the bar really high for other albums and shit to come out, and none of them have knocked any of those down at all. Like they've just sat there for
That's
months.
insane.
So it's actually been really cool because I love the shit out of these albums, and definitely am excited for more. So I think without further ado, we should jump right in. So what we are doing here, these are hypothetical if Loki did another album, just ideas of what we would like to see or who we would like to see low key cover. This isn't necessarily us saying he needs to do this. This isn't us saying this is what will be. This is just us saying like these are artists, these are songs from these artists that we feel would be good for low key because he's very talented. You know, he does more than just rap. He does more than just horrorcore. He's fucking musically talented. So for me,
Yeah, these are like our dream picks of sorts, like what we really think that he would just totally demolish as a cover.
absolutely, because in my eyes, every single song on both the first two Candy Corn and Cover Songs, they belong to Low Key now. Like, if I'm gonna go listen to the songs, I'm gonna listen to them from him. So,
Absolutely.
we basically, I wanted to try
And
to
he's
keep it simple. Each of us pick 5.
yeah,
When we first really talked about it, I know I had kind of said maybe pick 3 songs from each artist, but I've actually narrowed mine down to just one because I don't want to overwhelm it a little too much. And I feel like the songs that I picked are the best from that artist that he would really, really fucking kill. So I don't know if you had did 3 or if you narrowed yours down to one, but I went ahead and narrowed mine down to just one.
yeah, I ended up picking just one because when we initially did, you pick an artist and then pick like three songs that it would be cool for him to do. I almost had a hard time picking a third song for some of these artists. So like, and more some than others. Like some artists, I'm like I could hear a whole album of him just redoing their albums, and some I was like just one song I think he would really be good at. So yeah, I just
Absolutely.
narrowed it down to one of each as well.
Right on. I think that's going to be the most best way to do it. So I guess we'll kick off, and I'll start with mine. And I kind of just have mine in no specific order, so I'm just going to give mine in no specific order. So I'm going to start mine off with Twisted's "Rock the Dead."
Space and beyond, mind of an idiot. I stole your headstone from your grave plot. Conscious and confused, see tomorrow's dreams on tonight's news. Falling through a hole in the sky, will I die in a
Now,
Hmm.
I picked this song because obviously he covered "Play with Me" on the first Candy Corns and Cover Songs, but he's never I don't honestly, and I don't even know in the research I've done on Loki how much of a fan he was of Twisted. I know he opened for Twisted, like at a show or on a tour, but I guess I've never really seen him show that. You know what I mean? I don't think I've really seen him show and say like, "Yo, Twisted is the shit." Like,
There's actually a really funny story about this. I just learned. Sorry, I'm like
no, you're good. I actually would
interrupting you, but
love to drop that.
He and Mad Max has a podcast now, and he did an episode where he just kind of talked about some like history of him coming up as a rapper, and he got on a tangent about Loki, and he said that Loki has a Magic Records tattoo on his arm, and I think what he meant was Black Magic or whatever the label that Twisted originally was going to go and do around Green Book era. It's like a red shrunken skull.
Yep.
Loki has that tattooed on his arm.
I thought I had seen that.
Yeah, so Loki was by I don't know. I'm losing my train of thought on what I was trying to say, but basically he was so down with Twisted that he got a tattoo of the record label before it ever actually went through. Right and on. I feel like you can hear a lot of influence from Twisted in his music and like maybe even early HOK and whatnot, more so than ICP necessarily.
For sure. And that's why I think that he needs to do a cover song from Twisted. And originally I had put I'm All Right on there, but I decided to go with this one because I felt like it contradicted with another one of mine, but we'll talk about that when we get to that. So that is my first pick. I say he needs to cover a Twisted song, and Rock the Dead is a perfect one that I feel like he would shred the fuck up. So,
absolutely.
What do you got for your first one?
Well, it's funny that we both thought Twisted. So I went with Nightmares.
Of a dream or a nightmare when nobody can hear you scream as you fight to awake from your sleep and you shake in your bed in a dream and the evil is creeping, crawling. I keep calling out for some help, but I feel like I'm falling.
From I think that's on Abominations, and I think it's like a good kind of rock rap type song, kind of like Rock the Dead is. So I think we were kind of in a same headspace with that choice, actually. I think Twisted's also good at kind of doing like the rap, rock, singy type mix of stuff. So I think it'd be cool to see how Loki would do a take on that.
Hell yeah. Honestly, I'm actually having a hard time remembering that song. It's been a while since I've listened to Abominations. I don't really have like I kind of have a love-hate relationship with that album because like it's good, so I love it. But then like everyone when it came out was like, oh, this is the best album Twisted's ever done, and that's why they left. So I kind of have that hate relationship with it, like it was put on a pedestal. So I'm having a hard time drawing that like, to my mind. But yeah, so
played out for you almost.
Almost, yeah.
Before you even got to listen, I get like that with certain things, where like I hear about it so much, I'm like, man, I don't even care anymore.
But yeah, we definitely seem to agree on that. He seems to draw influence from Twisted, and I feel like, and honestly, with Twisted wanting to dabble more in rock, I keep thinking to myself like Loki's already kind of set a really good standard of how to do it, and I would love to see Twisted like reach out to him even and work with him. To my knowledge, they've never worked in any kind of capacity outside of Cabal. So
I believe that's correct. It would be cool even just to like see a feature or something, but I would love to hear what that would be like, especially because I like Twisted's rock stuff, but I think Loki's doing it way better than Madrox is.
Oh yeah, and that's saying it nicely, like, but yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess moving right on along, my next one, and this one actually wasn't originally on my list. I added it later. I had a different song. I don't even remember by whom. But I think POD's Youth of the Nation.
Last day of the rest of my life, I wish I would've known, cause I didn't kiss my mama goodbye. I didn't tell her that I loved her, how much I cared. I thank my pops for all the talks and all the wisdom he shared. Unaware, I just did what I always do. Every day the same routine before I skate off to school. But who knew that this day wasn't like the rest? Instead of taking the test, I took 2 to the chest. Call me blind, but I didn't see it coming. Everybody was running, but I couldn't hear nothing except gun blast. It happened so fast, I didn't really notice, kid, though I survived in class.
That song, what made me put that one on there was low-key has kind of touched on similar themes, like Into the Fire. He talks about a girl getting raped and using music to kind of, recover from that or heal from that. And to me, hearing Youth of the Nation and thinking of low-key kind of touching that in some of his songs anyways already, I feel like that would be another really good one, and I think he would do just absolutely amazing with that. But yeah, that's why I picked POD's Youth of the Nation. It's such a heartfelt song too, and I know that low-key would do amazing on it.
Absolutely. And I thought it was an interesting choice too. Sorry, my light keeps
You're good.
turning off.
Don't drain your battery. Don't drain your battery.
Oh no, it's good. It just has like a timer on it. But
Gotcha.
I thought that this was an interesting choice because it's a good storytelling song.
Mm-hmm.
But Loki's done songs on the other end where like the first verse of that song is basically about a kid getting shot, like from his perspective. But Loki's done songs on the other end of that perspective, like I think it's High School Massacre?
Yeah. Yep.
On American Monster? Yeah. So it'd be interesting to hear him do a take on a song that's from the other end of that.
Yeah, definitely. Too. Definitely, for sure. Yeah. So what do you got for your next pick?
For my next one, I'll go with Freaks and Geeks by Oliver Tree.
I'm a weirdo, I'm a freak, no matter who I try to be. I changed my life, I changed my ways. I always wanted better days. I tried my best, I've been the worst. For all the lost and what it's worth, I always gave and then gave up. I found myself shit out of luck. I've done some sinning, but I'm a savior. They gonna love ya until they hate ya. I'm done with sinning, but I'm still not right.
Which is kind of a more lighthearted one, kind of like a acoustic type folky kind of sounding thing. I think it'd be fun to do. I've been listening to a lot of the Unchained mix of Parasuva with that acoustic guitar and him just singing.
Yeah.
And I've been really in that headspace lately. And Freaks and Geeks is kind of that song, but it's more of like a fun, higher energy song. So I think it'd be fun to hear him do covers like that. And like the chorus or the bridge is like, I do it for all the freaks and the geeks, for the ones who don't sleep. And like, it's just like an anthem about the artist doing it for all the weirdos and whatnot and being a weirdo themselves, which, and I mean this as not an insult, but as a good thing. I think that Loki's kind of encapsulated that. And that's one of the reasons I like him so much is like, I'm kind of a freak and a geek and he kind of is. And I relate to that and whatnot. I mean, that's just juggalo shit, really.
Yeah. And honestly, it does feel like that would be right up his alley for sure.
Yeah. And, I was talking earlier about how we had brought up that he was already kind of working on one, and Oliver Tree is one of the artists that I know he listens to, so I'd be interested to hear him cover any of those songs, but that was the one that first came to mind.
Hell yeah. Honestly, I know you had shared a playlist of all of our picks together, and I have not checked any of them out. I know there's a lot you've recommended to me, but there's so much new music coming out right now that I was like just hyper fixated on all crazy. Of it as it dropped. So, but yeah, that definitely sounds like an interesting one. I would love to hear, and then definitely I think Loki would probably kill it. Just from the way you described the song, it sounds like something he would kill. So I guess moving right on along, the next one that I have is Korn, and it is Did My Time.
Realized I can never win. Sometimes feel like I failed inside. Where do I begin? My mind is laughing at me. Tell me, why am I to blame? On ways of both to be the same. That's why I will never tame this thing that's burning in me.
originally had put this, I had thought of Korn. I wasn't really sure which one I wanted to go for, and I felt like Did My Time is one where it would really give him the opportunity to just express that emotion like Jonathan Davis did in that song. That to me is one of the most standout ones when I had thought about it. You know, it's not too much of him needing to go in and go screaming in the vocal booth. You know, this gives him more of an opportunity to just kind of stretch out his vocal ability. And one of the things I like about Candy Corner cover songs is he's taken songs like that sound punk and made them soft with a piano. Like, you know, Never Look Back is the prime example. A punk song, and he made it like a slowed down, like melody essentially. So I think Korn, Did My Time would be a really good one that low-key would just destroy.
Absolutely. That's actually, I'd probably say that's my top Korn song, so I'd love to hear that. Even if he did just straight up cover it like it normally is, or maybe throw some Oracle vibes or something in there. Absolutely. I think that would be really interesting to hear him do. Or, yeah, kind of slow it down and like really feel it.
Yeah, definitely.
There's so much he could do with it.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right, what do you have next for your picks?
I'm gonna go with "Fill a Crown" by Poppy. Poppy's a really interesting artist because she kind of started as like generic like pop, and then she released a like kind of like metal album that's like kind of fused with like different elements of different genres, which is something Loki does really well. And there's some like weird parts on the song where there's like a male vocals on it. And I think it'd be interesting to kind of hear actually Batty Bat go on this song and them kind of like combining the vocals like it is in the song. And it starts as like a weird, like kind of like techno-y thing, and then it gets metal, and then it gets like poppy, and like the song's kind of all over the place in like a really cool way. And it'd be interesting to hear him do a cover of a song that is like many songs in one with like different like vocal layers, and bring Batty Bat in there or something like that.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I think the two of them doing more songs together in duet style. And I know I did a reaction video for her single, I think it was Paparazzi, when it came out. And I actually had said in that I would love to hear Low-Key and Batty Bat do like a duet style. And then literally you go listen to the box and there you can hear her on the hook. And it's kind of them duetting. And then even when I go listen to Candy Corner cover songs too, you can hear her as well. I think it's in Secular Haze, maybe. You hear her singing with him. But speaking,
yeah, I think so.
But speaking of Batty Bat and Low-Key killing it together, my next pick, that's actually a great, awesome bounce off. I love that you threw that one in there. Now I can bounce off of it for my next pick. My next one is definitely... I talk about this band all the fucking time. I'm a huge fucking fan outside of the Juggalo world. Fear Factory. And my initial idea was for Batty Bat to do the deeper growls that Burton does, and Low-Key to cover the clean vocals that Burton does. But ultimately, listening through their discography, because they're an industrial metal band, and I know Low-Key is familiar with them because of the Zargorg show. There was actually an episode where Batty Bat was with Zargorg, and they listened to Zero Signal by Fear Factory, which was on the Mortal Kombat soundtrack and in the movie of the 1994, whenever that fucking movie came out back in the 90s. That song there, they were listening to it, so I know they know it because Batty Bat said she was familiar with them. I guess that doesn't mean Low-Key is, but I mean, I have to assume, right? But I ultimately went with Descent. because that is a more rock melodic song. It's not quite as heavy, so it would really allow Low-Key to go in there and do a really good job of just being melodic and not have to worry so much about trying to bring in growls, or maybe not have to bring in Batty Bad, even though I would love to see it. I just feel like Descent is the perfect Fear Factory song. I about said ICP there. Is the perfect Fear Factory song for Low-Key to just go in there and do his thing on. So that was the one I decided to go with, was Descent by Fear Factory.
I like that a lot. Yeah, because of you, I've been getting into Fear Factory, and I especially have like latched onto that song. I think that's a good choice, even if it is just him. I want to hear him like explore more metal for himself too, and like doing those like deeper growls and stuff that he kind of introduced with Blood of Isu.
Yeah, oh for sure. One of the ones I had on there was a more energetic and fast-paced song. It was Regenerate by them off of my favorite album, Genexus. But I ultimately decided to go with Descent. I felt like more of the Candy Corner cover songs are kind of, some of them seem a little bit dialed back and not so much like in your face. So I felt like Descent was the better way to go. But yeah. So what?
Yeah, I like that.
What do you have for your next one?
What do I have next? I'm gonna keep spooky vibes in the chat and just keep my light off. So I'm done playing with the light, so I apologize for fiddling with that, but it is what it is. My next pick is Ascensionism by Sleep Token.
Well, I know what you want from me. You want someone to be.
And this is a funny anecdote. When we first decided to do this album, this is from their newest album. This hadn't come out yet. And in the time that we first discussed doing this, and now this band has completely exploded. They're like super popular on TikTok. They went from like 300,000 listeners on Spotify to like 2 million.
Oh shit.
So like, this is like one of like the hot new metal bands, which I like discovered them right before that happened. So it's funny. But Sleep Token is actually like one of the few bands that give me like a similar feeling to like Oracles.
Mm-hmm.
They're like very melodic and like experimental with like the more like industrial metal, but there's a lot of singing.
Yeah.
And even like the band's look, like the lead singer, his name is Vessel, and he has this like white, like slender mask that kind of looks like a face but doesn't. And they like sing about dreams and like this deity thing that they just call sleep. So it's very like in Low-Key's wheelhouse of like dreams and alternate dimensions and like these occultic figures with like the masks and stuff. Like it's so in the realm, and it's one of the reasons why I like this band so much. But Ascensionism specifically starts as like a slow piano, like kind of sounds like it's going to be a sad song, but then it turns into like a weird R&B song that turns into a slow song that turns into a metal song. So it's another one of those, I want to see what he would do with a song that's many songs in one.
Oh yeah, because then he could go back and forth.
Yeah, or completely flip it on its head like a Play With Me type thing, or a Don't Look Back type thing, where it's just like he completely swaps the genres around when the song itself is already a bunch of genres or something.
Right, that would be actually amazing.
Yeah.
For sure. I know you had recommended Sleep Token to me, and you know, again, I've meant to go check them out, but Fear Factory dropped a new album around that time, and when that happens, everything else doesn't exist, so I definitely need to go check them out.
Yeah.
So
they're very cool. They're very different. They're kind of slow on like some songs, so it is kind of hard to get into some stuff, but I highly recommend them. They're very different, very experimental. Like, they're awesome, and they look fucking rad as hell with their masks and everything.
I mean,
I'm all about cool band gimmicks.
Hey, theatrics, man. It's entertainment, and that's why
Absolutely.
we call it that for a reason. So, definitely somebody I should check out. But that will bring it to my final pick. And at first, I had a different song in mind, and then as I was listening to this album, I thought this would be absolutely amazing. Again, Never Look Back. Low key flipped that song on its head and changed it into like a very heartfelt song, and I absolutely love the shit out of it. And this particular song here, I love the shit out of from the first time I ever heard it. Allison Chains is the artist, and the song is Black Gives Way to Blue.
I don't wanna feel no more. It's easier to keep falling. Imitations of pale.
This song is a really good song, and if anybody out there has never heard of it or doesn't know anything about it, this was the album that Alice in Chains had first put out after that Lane Staley had died. So they had to replace the singer, and this song here was a very heartfelt kind of goodbye from Jerry Cantrell and the other members of Alice in Chains. And when you listen to the lyrics, it's just such a touching, moving, like sad song. It just really is, you know. So I feel like low key would do it absolute justice. I feel like this is a song where he would do it exactly the same way. Keep the pianos in there, which is something I'm really huge on, and I think he would just honor it the best that anybody ever could. So I think Alice in Chains, Black Gives Way to Blue would definitely, and honestly, that if he ever did do it, it would have to be the album closer because nothing could follow that up. So Alice in Chains, Black Gives Way to Blue is my final pick for artists that low-key should cover. So what do you have for your final one?
So this is Questions by System of a Down.
Sweet berries ready for two ghosts to know different than you. Ghosts are now waiting for you, are you? Sweet berries ready for two ghosts to know different than you. Ghosts are now waiting for you, are you? Dreaming, dreaming the night, dreaming alright.
Which is my all-time favorite metal band. If I had to kill a man to get him to cover this song, I'd do it because I want to hear what he would do with this song. And specifically, because System of a Down is typically a duet band, this one I really want to hear Batty Bat and him take the song on. I think it would be so cool. The song is another one with kind of like slow verses and then like a high energy chorus, and it's got a lot of raw emotion and feelings all over the place. I really, really would just love to hear him and Batty Bat tackle that. I think what I really want for a Candy Corn cover songs is for him to get some Batty Bat in there and them do stuff together, but especially if he ever did that song, that'd be so cool to hear them do that together.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, the ending of that song always trips me the fuck out because it's like you hear the guitar kind of strumming and you think it's gonna fade out and it's la 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 la.
Yeah. It's like a jump scare ending on it.
Exactly, and that would be perfect, I think, for low-key and Batty Bat, like you said, to do. So
I love that. I love System of a Down's chaotic energy. It'd be just awesome to hear him do something with it.
Hell yeah. And honestly, they never really popped into my mind. I'm familiar, obviously, with System of a Down, but most of their discography I don't really know. I only own 2 albums from them, Hypnotize and Mesmerize, with, Mesmerize actually being my favorite. And, Questions was one of the ones that stands out on that album to me as well. So, yeah, it's definitely a good pick.
It's so good. They only have 5 albums though, so you're halfway there, almost halfway there.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But yeah. So that has been our picks for artists that low key should cover. Tell me down below, or tell us down below rather, who you think that low key should cover. Tell me give me an example of a song, and I'll go check it out, and maybe I'll fall in love with it. But yeah, do you have any final words you want to say, Wasteland Waldo?
Well, first off, thanks for having me. I'm excited to get around to doing this.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for a long time.
It's been a minute. I almost thought about seeing if you want to do it at the gathering, but there was just so much stuff going on then.
Yeah,
there was no way.
Sure. For sure.
But yeah, this has been fun to talk about. If anybody wants to come in, talk to me, say what's up, say my pics are trash, it to my face, kind of. I'm in Discord. I'm in the Fago spot. Shout out to the Deck One Delt server and the underground podcast community. That's the ICP with we guys. Not to plug a bunch of other guys that aren't you, but that's where I usually lurk. I don't really do content.
Yeah, I'm in all three of those servers as well. And if you want to get into my server and want to get to the other servers, you can head over to the Fago spot. Link in the description to get to the Fago spot. And then once you're there, just fucking tag me or even tag Waldo. Waldo's in there all the time, and he's actually a moderator. So
yeah, I was about to say that. I forget that I'm a moderator sometimes. So behave yourselves, children, or I'll banhammer your ass.
Exactly. But yeah, again, leave your thoughts down below. Tell us what you think about our picks, and if you have never heard Candy Corner cover songs 1 or 2 from Lowkey, you can head over to listentolowkey.com and listen to them for free, or look for Lowkey Loves You on YouTube. He puts all his shit out there for free because that's how much he loves fucking making music. He puts it out there for his fans to hear for free. And then, of course, if you like what you hear, make sure you support the artist in whatever way that you can. Absolutely. Even if it's just sharing it to somebody else, like, hey, check out this artist. That's bringing awareness to the artist and giving them growth. So if you have nothing else to say, Waldo, we'll head up out of here. Do you have anything else to say?
Yep.
All right.
Nope, I'm good.
All right.
Peace.
Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.